And welcome to the Citizen Report. I'm Jonathan Shannon, and thank you for joining me tonight. As always, this newscast is real in-depth American. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always good to be back with you. Well, I'm in the progress of making some upgrades here. As you may notice, things are starting to look a bit different. Obviously not perfect. As you can see, I'm looping a graphic that dates back to when this was a college podcast, and I ran a simulcast on my YouTube channel when I was doing that. And obviously some not particularly the best one, because as you can see, it blacks out a second before it starts looping again. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this show tonight is basically sort of something of a rehearsal using the new setup, the new equipment, because I am trying to see how it looks as a finished product, but I also have some news to pass along to you as well. Before I get to that, I just want to tell you that I am working on a new episode that's not going to be tonight, but I am in the process of planning a new episode of the Citizen Report having to do with a Christian worldview or a Christian perspective on the state of Israel. So obviously a very, very controversial topic, but I think it's reached that point. I need to address it and be on the lookout for it. So having said all that, before I get to the news of the night, let me know what you think. I am using a green screen. In fact, I will just turn it off just briefly if you'll bear with me 1 second. See, it's just actually just the green screen. And then just like that, voila, the video's back up. So obviously, this is kind of exciting to be able to play around with this stuff a little bit. Unlike before, I was taping it in our family room, more or less. And because I'm not using a chroma key there, not the best background, shall we say, because it, all kinds of weird stuff. Well, anyways, to the news of the night. And I want to share with you something that happened not too long ago in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You might be aware of it by now. So this is from WRCB TV in Chattanooga. I think this is very important that my audience is aware that this happened. And basically what had happened was that you have late night flights carrying migrant children, no less, to Chattanooga. And migrant children, by the way, is a politically correct term. Let's call it what it is: illegals. If you entered this country illegally, you are an illegal immigrant. And really, to be even more politically incorrect, you are an illegal alien, meaning you don't have a lawful presence in this country. And if you are an alien, all that means, it's not a derogatory term any more than it is a legal term. It just means that you, being someone that's not supposed to be in this country to begin with, based on how you arrived here, you're not, you're an alien. I don't mean like the stupid UFO crap. I just mean the aliens as in you are an invader of this country. I'm sorry to be blunt about that, but that is the truth. And I will also just say that if someone has a legitimate case of asylum, then they should go to a port of entry. Don't enter illegally. You're supposed to go to a port of entry if, and a big if, you actually have a legitimate case to seek asylum. You should go to a port of entry, present yourself to a CBP officer, Customs and Border Protection. I don't know if it's that or if it's, honestly, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if it'd be CBP or ICE, but it's someone within Homeland Security. I can guarantee you that. And they have a process, a lawful process for dealing with asylum seekers. But what we have is people just flooding over the border. And before I get to this video from WRCB, let me just also add, the other day, I've basically been very tight-lipped about this. And for now, I'm going to continue to be rather tight-lipped. But shall I say, there's been a certain debacle going on lately at my local, with having to do with my local city government. And it's completely ridiculous. But suffice it to say, I tried to serve a legal statement, a statement I had made. It was to a city building. And ironically enough, the sign actually said not open to the public. In fact, if you'll entertain me for just 1 second, if you'll bear with me for 1 second, I'll just pop it up here on screen for you in one moment. That way you can see for yourself. So this is the picture that I took. We went up to the door and we noticed this. It says not open to the public. We are not open to the public at this time. If you need utility customer service, you will need to call blah, 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 then choose option blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. You can see it on your screen now. This is absolutely ridiculous. So let me get this straight. My local city government will not let someone like me in the building, in other words, and we didn't really, I think my mom may have tried to call that number, or at least maybe some number. I'm not sure if it was that one. It may have been another number, but regardless, we went up to the door and it said not open to the public. So let me get this straight. I'm an American citizen. I can't even enter my own government building. I thought the government was supposed to be of, by, and for the people. And yet you have illegal immigrants that are pouring over our border. And Biden is like, and I don't care what the mainstream media says, they're just like, oh, bless their hearts, they're just trying to seek a better life. Well, I'm sorry. They have citizenship from where they came from. Whether it be Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, I don't know, any one of those countries where they might be coming from. I don't know. But, and I say that I say this with all due respect. I'm not trying to degrade them, but they have their own country. If we just let everyone in this country, we don't have a country, because our country will just absolutely, utterly collapse at that point. And that's what the deep state, the Western Central Bank, that's what they want. They want us as a country to be gone, period. So keep that in mind. And by the way, let me say one other thing. As a Christian, yes, we're supposed to treat everybody not as an object, but as, every man or woman is made in the image of God. Every child is made in the image of God. And I fall short on it every day. I think we can all agree we all can do better on how we treat others. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you abrogate your sovereignty. You don't say, yes, just come on in and there's no checks or balances. If, there's a door right here that leads into this building where this set is. If somebody were to knock on that door right now, and I have it locked, by the way, if someone knocked on that door right now, would I just open the door and blindly, with my eyes closed, say, come on in? No, I wouldn't. And you probably wouldn't either. You'd probably, and especially, being that it's after 11 o'clock when I'm taping this, 11 o'clock PM, you're probably going to be like, well, who is there? And if I'm not expecting someone, I'm probably just not going to open the door unless I know that the person. So it's just completely ridiculous. This notion, on a bigger scale, that's exactly what we have with this country. You're letting people in. And President Donald Trump was absolutely right. They're not sending their best. And again, I'm not saying this to try to dehumanize them. I'm not, but they have their own country, and respectfully, with all due respect, they have to fix their own country, because that's the only way any country, all these countries, are going to survive. They have to go and try to better their own country. If they have a legitimate case of asylum, they should bring it to the port of entry. And that's if it's legitimate. Don't even try. If you have a bogus asylum claim, then that's just being unfair to someone that has a legitimate asylum claim. I know I keep rambling, but I keep, as I'm talking, there's just other things that are coming to mind. What about what about people in South Africa? What about them? John B. Wells and his wife, Brendy Wells, they have spoken at length about this in the public realm. You've got farmers there, white farmers, that in my estimation, and I would surely think in the estimation of John B. Wells, that they are well deserving of asylum to this country, because they're productive, and not just productive, but they also are facing imminent threat to their lives in some cases. And it's racism to the point of actually putting people's lives in danger. Reverse racism, I should say. So this whole thing with the mainstream media trying to create this notion that we're supposed to just blindly let people in without checks and balances. We all know what this is really about. This is about collapsing our country's sovereignty. That's just what it is. So on that note, now I'm going to go to WRCB. I'm going to go to WRCB now to play a report from them. And by the way, just saying up front, I'm sure there's copyright on this. I'm giving full copyright acknowledgement to WRCB because I'm just playing this. I'm a news show here. I'm just playing this for informational purposes. I don't profit off of this. I just need to say that on the record because I'm playing the whole thing. I'm going to play the whole thing. It's about just under 4 minutes long. Okay. So let me share my screen so you can see and hear what this report says. And this is just astounding. They're trying to bring people in under the radar. If this doesn't wake you up, I don't know what does. All right, let me share my screen. There we go. Let's play this report.
Migrant children are being flown into Chattanooga at night and bused to cities across the Southeast. Acting on a tip, Channel 3 has obtained video of 2 of those arrivals and confirmed 4 planes carrying children have arrived since Friday. Tonight, we've learned concerned citizens want transparency from lawmakers. Channel 3's Mary Frances Hoots joins us live now from Wilson Air with what she's uncovered. Mary Frances.
Well, Cindy, eyewitnesses have told us what video and flight records have confirmed that 4 planes have arrived here at Wilson Air, 3 of them in the overnight hours, all within the last 5 days. So this is dating back to Friday and then as recently as Wednesday. Well, video is also showing us that those migrant children are getting off the planes and going directly to charter buses. And a source who is directly involved in this says that some of them are being reunited with families, and then other from those buses are being taken to other buses and then taken to group homes. Dozens of migrant children can be seen in this video obtained by Channel 3 loading charter buses at Chattanooga's Wilson Air. Video shows a plane arriving on Friday around 1:30 a.m. Another video shared with Channel 3 shows children arriving late Saturday night. A 3rd plane arrived Friday afternoon. Flight records confirm a 4th plane landed at 1:43 Wednesday morning. In the video, you can see children who appear to be in their teens carrying matching bags. Bus services as close as Cleveland and as far as Little Rock, Arkansas were there waiting. Coast-to-coast tours out of East Point, Georgia had 2 buses on site. An employee tells Channel 3 the buses, which left for Miami and Dallas, were sent to Chattanooga as part of a contract with the Department of Defense. A source with direct knowledge of the operation tells us approximately 30 to 50 minors are transported on each bus with chaperones, some to reunite with family, some to go to group homes. The only support Department of Defense is providing with respect to the unaccompanied minors is land and facilities for HHS to temporarily house them. In April, the HHS confirmed a group of unaccompanied minors are being housed at a former Tennessee Temple dorm in Highland Park. Several sources tell us at least 10 boys were taken there as part of this weekend's operation. It's an operation Congressman Chuck Fleischmann says he received a call from a concerned citizen about. Fleischmann says he is seeking answers from government organizations on how they plan to deal with the crisis at the border. He is working to confirm details to better understand the Customs and Border Protection's actions. U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty was not aware of the flights into Chattanooga, but says it is very concerning. He is asking President Biden to be transparent with where the migrant children are being resettled. U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn was not aware of the flights and wants answers.
There is no awareness, there's no visibility or transparency into this process. It does cause concern.
A spokesperson for Wilson Air also said that the airport is not involved in any of the operations or the flights coming into Chattanooga, and they only provide, quote, necessary operational support to inbound and outbound aircraft. So, of course, we've been asking questions about why. Why now? Why Chattanooga? Why late at night? Well, again, another source who is directly involved in this said this all started in Dallas, and then it's been moved to smaller airports across the country, including here in Chattanooga, to avoid some attention. Obviously, this has gained a lot of attention. Now, Chattanooga is a great central location close to a lot of major cities nearby. And of course, according to Congressman Chuck Fleischman, he says the timing of the flights has more to do with the length of the time that it takes to process a migrant child at the border. Now, this is a developing story, and as we learn more and uncover more, we'll be sure to pass that information along. But for now, live in Chattanooga, Mary Frances Hooch, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, that's from WRCB. Let me just add that I think it's very suspicious how, well, let me put it to you this way. Do you not find it suspicious that they're going to Tennessee, probably one of the most conservative states and arguably the most conservative state in all of the South? I think that's pretty much a given anyway, just about. And one of the most conservative states in the union for very sure. So they could send them to New York, they could send them to California, they could send them to, a blue area, even in a conservative state. Like Miami, for example, which is traditionally deep blue, but Florida is, at least right now, it is a toss-up state pretty much every time, but it's Republican controlled right now. So do you not get that? I mean, let me put it to you this way. If I were Biden and if I were trying to destroy America, or if I were, well, maybe it's more accurately his handlers. I don't think Biden even knows who, I mean, he seems to be completely clueless anyway. Then I would send illegals to the most conservative areas, collapse their society, and trying to ruin their economy. I would not be surprised. Now, it could very well be it's a logistical thing, that it's a more central location, as someone said, but I personally am not buying that excuse. I think that, well, you could fly them in at any time of day. Why 1:30 in the morning? Why in the middle of the night? And I'm a night owl. I do most of these shows, I do it at night. I mean, look, I'm not saying, I know I work at night. Actually, I do some of my best podcast work at night. I do some of my best podcast work. I do my, when I'm doing college, and I'm obviously on a break right now, I do, a lot of my work at night, by the grace of God, of course. And yet, it just seems really, really shady that they would try to bring them in the middle of the night in a not so big airport. It's a big enough airport to have, I believe they've had, I don't know if it's still true, but Delta connection or something down to Atlanta. So they have passenger flights, but it's not a hub, I don't think anyway. And Chattanooga is certainly not anywhere close to being the biggest city, even in Tennessee. So, and Tennessee is a rather rural state on average, very rural, very conservative. So very patriotic state. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I know there's been other developments, but I just wanted you to be aware of the general fact that this is going on, or been going on rather recently. And I'll have to keep tabs on it. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. This show, granted, I'm kind of testing this out. I know the background needs to be tweaked. I know the visual graphics, or the motion graphics part, blacks out for a second, because that's how I rendered it way back when. But anyways, I'm just running a test to see how all this works with chroma key. From what I can tell right now, it looks pretty good. But let me know how the sound is as well. So I hope as time goes on, this show will look and just get better across the board, because I think that in the alternative or independent media, we need to try to do the best work we can possibly muster, because the mainstream media, they have millions of dollars to look and sound the best they can. And obviously information is paramount, accuracy is paramount. I'd rather listen to someone with a bad microphone talk truth than, or talk maybe with a good microphone, but maybe not the best graphics. I'd rather them talk truth than to listen to a slick news channel on TV give me propaganda. But that being said, there's no reason why we shouldn't look, why the Citizen Report, why other shows shouldn't look as best as they can. So anyways, let me know what you think. This has been a test, but also I am glad I passed that information along to you regarding the illegals coming into Chattanooga to be bussed out elsewhere. So anyways, God bless each and every one of you. And don't forget my website for the Citizen Report, citizenreport.tv. The other web link still works, thecitizenreport.weebly.com. You can find me personally across most major social media platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Gab. And also, of course, don't forget the Citizen Report is on stinger.live at stinger.live/the Citizen Report. So God bless each and every one of you once again. And I'll see you right back here again next time. Have a good night, everyone.